There is a rivalry game this weekend that I can tell you right now in offices across the triangle, across the state, right? The cubicle buddies that have different diplomas, maybe grew up rooting for different teams, maybe have their game rooms painted different colors, maybe one red, maybe one a little light blue.
Little house divided action, maybe?
The trash talk has already started, and it should. It should. If you aren't jacked up for this week, yet you're mad when conference realignment is being discussed and teams are talking about going to different conferences, I don't understand you. Right? If you're like, no. If North Carolina leaves, state and this team, and they all have to go with them. They have to stay together. Oh, they play this weekend. I don't know. That's not how it works. Bragging rights on the line. Fans care about this game a ton. It just means more. Sorry, SEC, I stole your slogan. It just means more. Dave Doeren, the head coach of NC State, joined our good friend Adam Gold just a little while ago. This was Dave Doeren's answer to what makes this rivalry so special.
The locations of the two schools makes it so unique. Just the interaction and the amount of people you run into. Wherever you go, I mean, you can't avoid each other from a fan base standpoint, and that makes it unique. There's only a couple other rivalries like that. The USC-UCLA rivalry was also like that, and so it's not just two teams in the state. It's two teams that are 30 minutes apart. Mm-hmm. They recruit against each other, and it goes the longest rivalry in the ACC, and there's a lot of players that played in it. It's been a really close game in a lot of games, and hard-fought game. They got good players. We got good players, good coaches. It's a fun game, man, and I know the fans will be jacked up for it.
And we want to absolutely smash them, is how he should have ended that. Who has the most to gain? Who has the most on the line in this game? If we agree, both teams have all of the rivalry things, right? Bragging rights, your fan base will be jacked up, right? You get if we all agree on that, is on the line for both teams equally. The extra, the others, the program gravitas, who has the most to gain? NC State or Carolina? I say NC State first because they're the home team. I'll tell you who has the most to gain. NC State. If Dave Doeren, who you just heard, if he wins this game, 9 wins with what he's dealt with this year, 9 wins with the roster they have and the roster maneuvering they've had to do, you stand on the table and you scream about it. Right? I mean, you just heard him. He said, right, these two teams recruit against each other. If you win this game, then you have more wins than North Carolina, and you go to every recruit and say, listen, they had a top draft pick quarterback, and we were more successful. I mean, just imagine if you came here to a quarterback that wants to be a top draft pick.
And you can say you beat them 2 years in a row, too.
2 years in a row. We've essentially had a better 2-year run. I mean, I think if you look at overall record, it would be either exactly the same, or I think NC State would have one more win.
Maybe.
A better 2-year run. We started 5 quarterbacks. They started 1, and he's going to be a top draft pick. And by the way, he was a top draft pick basically the moment he walked onto their field. It's not like they developed him into something. Drake May was going to be Drake May. If UNC wins this game, right? Because we're seeing who has more to gain. If UNC wins this game, they are happy. They retain bragging rights. They'll talk their trash. They'll do all of that. But it's still hard to frame this season as a successful one. It's better than it could have been, right? It's better than when the wheels fell off. But you're still a team that came into the year with ACC championship or bust. And well, I guess that would mean bust. As a program, this game matters more to NC State. And I don't want to say this game matters more. There's more to gain for NC State. Simply, expectations. North Carolina had higher expectations. And especially if you go back to week 5. If you go back to week 4, where were the expectations different for these two teams? That was probably at the peak difference. Yeah. NC State has a little bit more juice going into this one. Guys like Brennan Armstrong might only have this. Right? This might be, the NFL isn't a guarantee for a lot of those guys. And the ones that it is a guarantee for, guys like Peyton Wilson, they've stuck around a long time to get this opportunity and try to make sure they leave on the right note. Individually, I think it's an interesting conversation. And what I mean by that is most of the core of Carolina is going to be just fine win, lose, or draw, right? Mack Brown, he's got a national championship ring, right? He's got a legacy. He's got the Hall of Fame. He's got all these sorts of things. And you lose this one, I don't think any of that changes. Drake May, he's going to be a top 3 pick in the NFL. Win, lose, or draw. This game, he's going to have bigger games he plays in later in life. I think Kamen Rucker's going to have a chance to make some big news in the NFL. Omarion Hampton, although just a sophomore, once he becomes eligible, if he plays anything like he played this year in the future, he'll have a chance in the NFL. Tez Walker's going to have a chance in the NFL. Cedric Gray's going to have a chance in the NFL. There's a lot of guys who individually have much more to play for. You look at NC State. Peyton Wilson's going to have a chance, although I can already sense the NFL not giving him the credit he's due because of the age and injuries. Casey Concepcion's a long way away. You'd think he'd get a chance, but there's not a lot of obvious NFL guys. If you're going to be a guy who might be counting the end of your chances as a main contributor, even if you go on to be in the NFL, if you're a longtime special teamer, it's not the same as being like a starter, then this one's going to mean something more. The fact of the matter is this team means a ton to both. The fact of the matter is, years from now, oh, yeah, I played at NC State. I played at Carolina. One of the questions is going to be, well, how'd you do against the other? Or it might be, oh, I went to Carolina, so we're not friends. And you're going to want to name drop. Or mic drop, I should say. Or I went to NC State. Oh, I went to Carolina. Ha, ha, ha. We can't be friends. I won the last 2 games that I started in. I'm going to drop a pen so you can hear it. That was my mic drop. Mm-hmm. Or vice versa, right? Or, you beat us once, but You want those types of things. So it matters a ton. The intensity will be there. Even if one team was 10-1 and the other was 3-8, guess what? This game would still matter. But when they're both 8-3, regardless of how they got there, yeah, I think this one's going to mean even more to both teams. Electricity is going to be through the roof in Carter Finley.